Hello, beloveds, and welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about how to break the habit of people pleasing. Why am I calling it a habit? Well, I will get to that in a second. But first, I want to make sure that you know what a people pleaser is. A people pleaser is someone who over accommodates, who over gives, who tries to rescue, that rarely says no, who puts the needs, wants, and desires of others above themselves. Sometimes they can be an enabler. Most often, they avoid conflict at all costs, and they have difficulty speaking up and talking about what it is that they want and need. So if this sounds like you, or even just a few of these items sound like you, then chances are you are a people pleaser. The first thing you need to understand is that people pleasing is on a spectrum. We're not all created the same. We aren't all doing the exact same things all the time because we are human beings, we're individuals, and we've had different life experiences. And quite frankly, we have different levels of our personal value and our self-worth and our self-esteem, which may contribute to how we show up in the people pleasing arena. However, that doesn't mean that the cure is different for anybody. The cure is always the same, and it is how we break the habit. But first, let's talk about why you've become a people pleaser. I'm going to give you the real nutshell version of this. I go into it at length in other videos on my channel, and I will post one here or here, wherever it is that it shows up, so that you guys can watch that at a different time where I go even more into length about that so that you can understand it. How does this happen? What happens is when we come into this world, we know nothing other than our divinity, our true worth. We are divine and perfect exactly how we are. But as we grow and our brain starts to shift into higher brain frequencies, we start to take in messages from the outside world. And those messages often are processed through our ego, which is designed to protect us. So it will read these messages as there's something wrong with us, or we're not good enough, or we need to adjust ourselves in a certain way in order to be safe in the world. So we start to shift and morph and chameleon, become people we're not. We step further and further away from our authentic self. And we believe, because the outside world, we believe, took away our worth, we believe that we have to get it back from the outside world. So that's why we seek to please everybody around us, because if we get that smile or that appreciation or that atta girl, or you're so awesome, or I'm so glad I know you, or thank you for coming to rescue me, or whatever it might be, then we feel like we have done something good, and then we feel like we are worthy. But the problem is that keeps us forever in debt to how other people are perceiving us. And that means, and that chance that someone doesn't perceive us correctly or give us that feedback that we want to get, then we are going to feel down, because we are quite literally banking on their love, approval, acceptance, and attention to make us feel like we are worthy. So going back to why this is a habit, because this has to do with our brain's programming to see ourselves through a lens of imperfect, wrong, there's something bad about us, we suck, we're not good enough. Because we are programmed to think through that lens, it is a habitual pattern, because that is where our brain goes immediately. And then we try to course correct that by becoming a people pleaser and trying to satiate that feeling that's inside of us. The ultimate problem is that the outside world is not the cure. They cannot help us. Believe me, I was there, and I actually wrote the book on it. The Recovering People Pleaser, a spiritual guide to reclaiming your true worth and attract the love you deserve. And here's how we do it. The nutshell version is we have to learn to give ourselves the love, approval, acceptance, and attention that we have been fracturing out all over the world. When we start to return that to us, we start to heal that programmed mind, that way of thinking that thinks that we are not enough, that there is something wrong with us, and we have to get that approval outside. When we feel like we have to get that approval outside, we are forever going to be thirsty and hungry for somebody else's approval. And we're always going to sacrifice our sacred self in the process. And this is many times why we end up losing ourselves in relationships, because we might pretend that we're strong. We might rally and think that we really got this. But as we're in the relationship, we will slowly start to morph back into that habitual way of thinking and behaving. The reset happens. We break the habit of being a people pleaser when we start applying to ourselves the 5 self-love tenets, which is grace and forgiveness of self, respect and protection of self, compassion and acceptance of self, supportive and loving self-talk, and self-care. And I go into that and so much more in this book, because I am here to help you recover from your people pleasing. Because one of the biggest problems with people pleasers is they are exhausted, they're tired, they don't get their own needs met. Life doesn't feel exciting and exhilarating. They never truly feel like they are loved and accepted. And that is not a great way to go through this world. But also, they tend to attract people who want to exploit their overgivingness and their people pleasingness, because they are the takers. Because we are the overgivers, they come in and they want to keep taking from us. And that's an energetic vibrational match, which will continue to happen throughout our lives with various people and situations and circumstances until we decide to heal what is causing that in the first place. It is time to break the habit of being a people pleaser, and I will show you how in my book. I will put the link also in the description, and if I figure out how, I will put the link right up here or right up here so that you can click that and go directly to it and buy this book yourself. If you're new here, my name is Kristen Brown, and I'm a self-love mastery and relationship healing author, speaker, and mentor. I am an intuitive and energy healing life coach who helps people reset their energetic foundation so that they can attract and create the life they've always dreamed of. So if this sounds like something that you're interested, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until next time, everybody, remember, you matter. Now go love yourself.